All right. So look who's here. Arianne Zucker and Greg Vaughan. Eric and Nicole of Days of Our Lives. We're at Day of Days 2022. So you've been out with the fans. And what are they saying to you this year?
They are so happy to be able to come out and see us. We had a really long line.
Of course.
Um,
Most importantly.
uh,
Who's your fan? Who's your fan faves?
yep. But I just feel that, there's a huge amount of appreciation of being able to come back after a few years. And last year was online. So obviously, in person is the best. You get the energy you get. And I know the line flows, but just being able to say, hi, how are you? Where are you from? Are you loving the show? Just real quick conversation is better than no interaction at all. And so it's been really wonderful to be here.
And what do they say to you, Greg?
Just glad to be back. What's going on? Is Eric and Nicole going to get together? What's going on? This bump.
There you guys finally Eric and Nicole admit their feelings for each other. They can't deny their attraction for each other. And then Jada passes out and is pregnant with Eric's child.
Yes, I say she's iron deficient. I mean, she's dehydrated. Yeah,
I just think
she
that-
missed breakfast. I don't know. I think they're making a big ordeal out of it, and they should. I mean, hey.
So how do you feel about her being pregnant? And the story, well, of course.
Be careful. Pump the brakes, people. Let's not jump to conclusions.
If she's pregnant,
better. Well,
like that?
yes, I liked it. If, well,
is he going to be a good father or want her to?
that daddy is, he better be there for that baby. I mean, honestly, girl's been getting around. I don't know what's happening in Salem because Eric came back and that Nicole.
Oh, so he won't admit that he wants a paternity test.
And it hasn't been put in front of him. Who's to say he's the father? I don't know what she does in her social hour. I mean,
did he not sleep with her?
Well, I think they rumbled in the beds, but yeah. But who's to say, that it's his?
Okay. So I just talked to Galen and I said, fans are saying that he should grow a spine and really come Galen Gehring.
Oh,
Rafe, and maybe he needs to get back at Nicole.
Oh,
How would you feel about that?
wow. And get back how? Did he come up with a...
We're working on a scenario. We're not very good at
That would
revenge
be
stuff.
interesting because Rafe is such a good egg, right? He's, the nice thing would to give Galen a storyline where he's kind of break out of the perfect, the solid cop
Right.
mode, where he's so hurt
Yeah.
that he's kind of doing rash things. I think that's a good idea. Yeah, and then Eric has to come to my rescue. Just saying.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good 3-week storyline right there.
3 weeks. We've written 3 weeks.
3 months.
We've written 3 weeks. Sorry.
3 weeks to shoot. We shoot it
With the 3 weeks.
3 years.
That's all I'm saying. It's good.
So, what do you think of how the storyline built and that she was fighting this attraction? And did you hate it or did you like
Fighting the attraction for Eric.
But then
Oh,
she was with Rafe. And do you think it makes Nicole look bad, or do you think
everything makes Nicole look bad.
everything makes Nicole look bad?
Well, I think that Nicole's really. I think the one thing that I hope at least 7 of my fans could agree on.
7.
7.
And they were in line today.
Yes, exactly. That long line I said.
That
Yeah.
long line, the 7.
Yeah. Except for the one that's in Australia. So that maybe 8.
8. The
So-
8?
I feel like that there is, I really strive for this character to find love, be loved, love herself for heaven's sakes, and having stability. And I think when she was truly married for that year, that brief moment to Eric, she finally found this strength in herself, being a good mom and a good mom to Allie and Henry, and just finding stability in her life. And when that stability went out the door and she lacked, again, this is classic Nicole of needing someone to fulfill her. No pun intended. So, that now, this is a really long answer.
But the 8 fans are listening.
The 8 fans are listening. And I think that you know, her relationship with Rafe was solid. That he gave her that strength that she was looking for in Eric when Eric was off doing all the good things that he does in this planet, you know, and right or wrong, you know, they had a nice relationship for a little bit.
Well, see, if you wouldn't have left to do Queen Sugar and the other things, there wouldn't have been this drama when you came back.
I love a good drama. God, nothing better than a good soap. You got to have a little drama in a good soap.
Yeah, that's true.
So does it matter to you when you come back to the show? Do they map out a story for, like, you know what's going to happen before you come back to commit to coming back with your schedule? Like,
I think we have an idea. Like Albert and I, we had our, you know, executive producer and Ron. We had a good, long conversation, just about like what I wanted this time. We really had. This is the first time that I've really got to put my own voice in it, and I have conversations with Ari because Ari being a significant factor into why I come to the show and why I've been a part of it for so long. So I mean,
it's a great reason.
It goes from 8 people to 9 because I'm a fan, and so.
But you two always have loved working together ever since
always.
I've known you, right? Doesn't it make it? It's special for both. It's easy.
Yeah. Well, I said earlier today. I mean, it's like it's a dream come true when you can work with somebody that you feel there's amount of respect, but there's trust. But when you do it, it just like we can just look at each other like that was good. That was good. And it feels that way. It's like, it's nice to have that. And, you know, there's moments that you were like, God, I got to carry this one. You know, I just wish the story's not there, but she's good. No, with Ari, we make sometimes filling story, really good story.
And with this, with talking to Ron and about what you wanted to do, is this coming then to fruition? What you, or will it be?
The needle's moving in the right direction. It's getting there. It's been we've been doing a lot of work. Let's put it that way. Our summer has been very busy, making good story, good content, and it's going to continue.
So what excites you now as an actor after all these years when you do a story? Like, what do you want to see in a story to make it worth your while to do?
Well, I wanted to have more voice in the character. It's since outside of being like as a priest, it was limited and always being holier than thou and the goody, making right decisions. You got to make mistakes. You got to fall down. Let's go through you got to evolve, you can't just be one note wonder, let's go. I want to make story, and I'm like, there's so much potential. She's a leading lady. I'm a leading man. Let's put these two together or really crush them to where they need each other or break them apart. Let's find a dynamic that's good. I don't want to make the right choice in here. I want to make some really bad choices. I want to do it and live with the consequences. I wanted Eric to be alone for a minute. I wanted him to suffer because of doing what he did to the relationship to destroy it, to give her reason. He takes a lot of blame and personal heartache for the mistakes he's made.
He really messed things up.
Gosh.
Yeah. Why is it so good working with him then?
I think Greg and I have a chemistry. It really is in the eyes.
Do you see the chemistry when you watch it on screen?
Strangely, I do, because it's so much more than just, they have physical chemistry. It's not about physical chemistry as it is about an emotional chemistry. And so I know that when I look in his eyes, I'm going to get everything he's got from, he's not coming to work like, oh God, I got to have crying scenes with such, and even when they're not there, even when they're not written, the scenes to me feel so emotional always. And good or bad, if people may get tired of seeing these two so
lusty, crying for each other.
Crying for each other. But it's a real bond that these two characters have, and I feel like Greg and I have just naturally been able to, not only that, there's a huge amount of trust. So we have clarity in our characters, right? We have clarity on who we are to each other and what we mean to each other. And that will never, ever, ever go away. It doesn't matter if they put us with somebody else, marry us off for 7 years, or wherever they take us. These characters, when they walk in a room together, will always have that.
And to Greg's point, you've had conversations too with the people at Days too, right, about stories?
No, they don't talk to me.
Yes, they do.
I don't have that power.
They don't want all her fans to get.
They don't want the 8 fans to be upset.
Yeah, I don't want to piss my 7 fans
off. But haven't you said at times I would like to do this?
what I do is,
And how do you handle it to try to get something you might want?
I've just always tried to do it through my work. I mean, I think when I was younger on the show, I mean, when I was like 7 and I was drinking, um, I I was showing them what I could do, and I was in the background on the karaoke when we had the karaoke pool, and I didn't have a word all day long, and I'm in the back, and I kept asking the prop guys to bring me these, keep filling my margarita, and my margarita would go down, and the camera guys were so great. He'd be like, Mike McCarty's not there anymore, but he would pan, and he would make sure I was in the shot. And there were points where I'm on my lounge chair like this. They made me a drunk on the show, and it was all because of that. Like I'm trying to do stuff, and I worked on my emotional, breaking through my emotional wall, so that I was an emotional character filled, finding love. And I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I don't have family on the show.
Right. You don't.
Consistent family on the show.
Right.
I'm not a part of a major family. And so I worked really hard on finding something that the fans could attach themselves to. And it was going to work or it wasn't. And I feel like that's...
And then years later, did you say like what Greg would say, like to Ron, like I'd like to do this kind of story?
I don't say that.
Okay.
I mean, I always say like I love to work. I would like to have, I loved, who doesn't love to work when you're on a show, and so that I will say, whatever it is, I've made things work on this show. I could make paint drying
I
exciting.
think we have a good cop, bad cop.
I think
thing,
that's true. Yeah.
We have a good cop, bad cop. I'll play like the bad cop, and I'm like, hey, I got to go push the door open a little bit because I want to know, and I don't like to wait. And I like, hey, because whatever serves me, I'm gonna make sure she's taken care of.
You're taking care of her.
Yeah, because we're a team. I got her. We've been longer friends than we do have fans. So
Well, I think after this, you'll have at least 10 fans.
we love you and thank you. Right here.
So good to see you, Greg. So good to see you, Ari. Watch them both on Days of Our Lives, streaming on Peacock.